David Bryce. I'm from Massachusetts, and I'm a sculptor who happens to make drawings in clay also. My interest is in Asian antiquity and Baroque sculpture, so it's kind of a east-west fit together. And they're all made in clay initially, and then cast in acrylic and plaster so they can be used outdoors. No, I think they have to sort of come together. Think of the Pope and all his vestments and decorative drapery, and the geisha or the kabuki costumes, or the emperors and all that armor. So that's sort of the link. It's the costume, I think, and the way they wrap themselves. I mean, these are really vegetable shapes, right? There's nothing complicated about them. The head, the fingers, and the toes, and everything, create a sense of the figure. But this is all just abstraction that creates a sense, of the drapery. Like, I'm making a metaphor, not a direct, illustration of folds. Right. Well, they're similar and dissimilar, right? Mm-hmm. So they're similar in that to get the work, understood dimensionally, particularly these pieces that are, fully three-dimensional, you have to resolve it all. And so I approach it with disciplined, small visits over a long period of time. And I do the drawings the same way. It's a small period of time, so I keep it fresh, but it doesn't take as long. I mean, it's a fun event, and it's not as rigorous and demanding as a dimensional piece. But it needs to be resolved to the same, level of understanding. So a piece is finished when it's convincing, no matter what it looks like. Well, the body's made first, right? So that's the gesture, whatever it is, seated, flying, hesitancy or pursuit, This is called duet. So you want the body language to reflect, the narrative line. And I do that with, big volumes and simple shapes. And when I have that understood, then I have to go back and roll out big pieces of clay that represent that metaphor of drapery to decorate the slower things. So you got big slow shapes, and you've got activity. And so the same up here, you've got the general phase, and he's got to have, a lot of interest in the eyes, and then up here it's got to be exciting. So it's really a balance of, slow and fast, a balance about speed. I make them in clay, right, and then I make a rubber mold on them, and then I recast them in acrylic and plaster so they can go outdoors. Yeah, I used to have a bronze casting foundry, so once I have that mold, I can make them in bronze, I can make more clay pieces, or I can cast them in acrylic and plaster. But I see them, they look better. You'll notice I do not have a top on my booth here, so I think they look good with hard light, pushing on them, because the shapes, the light is now diffuse, but when the sunshine, they just really, all the lights and darks really jump. So I like them outside better, or with the hard light on them.